Hey, so before I get started, just a note, I'm about to show a bunch of Star Wars stuff and almost nothing else. So if that is not your thing, uh, just feel free, shut it off, go watch something that you're going to enjoy more. I promise not to be upset. I won't even know that you shut it off when you heard that there was Star Wars stuff. But I have a reason for doing this, um, and it's because of a VR opportunity for the Three Good Nerds and Justin over there. But before I kind of go on about that a little bit, I did win a VR from him a couple weeks ago. I can't remember which, and I was able to snatch one of these cards from Scott over at Reindeer Studios. This is, of course, of Nuke uh, from Bull Durham. It talks about that on the back. You can see he has the quote. If I can get it to focus. Anyway, I want to bring the heater, announce my presence with authority, after which a home run happens. But anyway, they also sent one of their stickers. Once I turn around and start doing this video from the other direction, you'll begin to. I'll put this up on the thing behind me so that it's visible for everyone to see the wall. Anyway, so the VR for today though is he had he had this great idea. Actually, it's very funny. He talked about choose your own VR, basing it on the old choose your own adventure books. I don't know if you ever read those. I loved those growing up. I read them all the time. I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's a choose your own adventure book, and I don't know if you know anything about the choose your own adventure books, but they are perfect for cheating. If you die, you just go back and try a different path. No big deal. You'll get there just fine. But I'm not really cheating. I'm just going to cheat by answering two of the VRs. I think that's okay. But he wants us to show something that's in our collection that is pretty much worth nothing. Um, and so I'm going to do that. I'm going to show something that's pretty much worth nothing. It's something from my childhood, but it's Star Wars related. And then and then he said, show something from your collection that you've never shown before. And what I've never shown before is stuff that I have from collecting Star Wars things over the years. And really, I don't know if it's fair to say that I collect Star Wars things. I have some Star Wars things. Most of it has been gifted to me. You know, when people learn that you like Star Wars, what do? They purchase you Star Wars things. And so some of them have been purchased, some of them have just been gifted from people's own collections. Especially, I've got a few things I'll mention that are from my brother who sent me some very generous things, including the thing I will end with. I will end with showing you something that's perhaps the most valuable thing in my collection. Certainly a unique item. It is a one of one, but you'll see why when I get there. So I'm going to end with that. The second to last thing will be the thing of no value but importance to me. Something my wife has wanted to throw away several times. I won't let her do it. You'll see why, I think, in a minute. But anyway, I just thought this would be a neat kind of way to show several things that I have from Star Wars collections. And so let me do that. I need to take a minute or two to kind of gather some stuff together. It's kind of scattered all over the place, but I've tried to assemble some of it, and then we'll look at some Star Wars stuff together, and well, hopefully this works for you, Justin, and thanks again for the card and the sticker. I really appreciate that, and thank you for these opportunities to do VRs. I enjoy this part of the hobby experience, the YouTube community experience. So let me gather some things. I'll show you some stuff, and we'll have some fun. All right, we'll see how this goes. I'll probably have to shift some stuff around behind me as I go here, but well, let's start with what a lot of people have as far as Star Wars stuff, and that's my Funko Pops. Let me just take them off the stand. This was my first Funko. When I saw this is Luke from, well, it's from The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens. I guess I've shown this one before. That's my Obi-Wan tie-on that I picked up at a Star Wars day. But I like these ones this is another one, Luke with Yoda on his back. That's a fun one from Empire Strikes Back. I've got some that are still in the box. Most of mine are not in the box, but I was gifted some of these. And so I've still got some of those in the box. That's the Ben Kenobi. With the blue lightsaber, he was always one of my favorites. How about some big ones in the boxes? That's pretty cool. That's Han Solo with the Tauntaun. That's another Empire Strikes Back one. I've got a few of these big ones. I've got one out of the box I'll show you. Here's another one in the box before I get there, though. This is Luke with his land speeder out of Episode 4, out of the original, New Hope. Here's one that's out of the box. They're not quite as big as they look sometimes, but this one was one that I purchased for myself, and just I wasn't going to leave it in the box. We all know who shot first, right? Here's another one. Oh, nope, I showed that. Actually, let me show you one more. Oh no, let me show you two more. I've got another Han from Return of the Jedi. How about the Han Frozen in Carbonite? And then my largest one. Yes, he is as big as he looks. That's Mando with Grogu with the shiny helmet. Those of you who like the shiny, there you go. Now see, I have to try to get all this stuff out of my way as I'm moving through and getting some other things. One of the things that I picked up, I think I picked one of these up at a yard sale, and somebody gifted me one or two of these. These are the old glasses from Burger King, back when these movies came out. Actually, I think I don't think these were when the movies came out. I think these came out in the 90s. But anyway, that's Empire Strikes Back. I've got a couple from Return of the Jedi. Ewoks, and of course the droids. And then this one with the Emperor, Luke and Vader, and a couple of the guards. Anyway, those are just neat. I like having these old glasses. And like I said, somebody was telling me they were going to throw them away, and I said, well, don't throw them away. Give them to me. I'll take them. I got a few of these. So what these are? I've got three. I only grabbed one of them, but this is from what I understand, in this container is a watch. So this must have come out. I know it says Episode 5. If you can read it, if I can get the glare to stop, there we go. I know it says Episode 5, but these would have come out when the prequels were in the theaters. You can kind of tell by the Star Wars logo what those were. So here's a couple. These are, if you grew up with Star Wars like I did, you might have had one of these. That is a read-along book with a record. I also have one with a cassette tape. That reminds me of my childhood. A lot of my childhood, having those things. I got a bunch of cards. These are things that I think my brother, well, I'm pretty sure he bought these for me. You remember they made these cards they're very long. These came out in Episode 1, and this is the set, and that's what this is. I've got two boxes. I think it was Series 1 and Series 2. And I think that's Series 2 in that box. This Series 1 came out of this one. Still in the box, still very very nice. I'm sure I could send them off to PSA and get 10s for all of them. Oh, speaking of cards, you have your Topps Gold cards. How about just some gold cards? It's hard to get these because they are actual gold. It's a 23 karat gold. This is the Bounty Hunters from Empire Strikes Back. I've got 6 of these. This is Shadows of the Empire. This is from a book that came out. This would have been pre-Disney, just because the Shadows of the Empire was one of the books that was out before that. I've got the trilogy cards. Star Wars with the Falcon flying away from the Death Star. Actually, that's Return of the Jedi. You can tell because of the Death Star. There's one of Vader making his plea to Luke. Now here's the movie poster ones. This is A New Hope. Again, it's hard to get these in good, just because they're so, well, they're so shiny. They're gold. Then I have The Empire Strikes Back. And Return of the Jedi. My favorite one growing up, Return of the Jedi. Now, my family has a bit of a twisted sense of humor at times. So I'm going to show you something that my mother bought for me. And perhaps you'll understand when I say twisted sense of humor. I have a lot of Star Wars figures. Not a lot, I have a few Star Wars figures. And maybe you do too. I'm going to guess that most of you do not have this one. This is Aunt Beru. If you don't know Star Wars, you won't get the joke, but that is, well, that's kind of sick if you ask me. But funny, right? Funny? Is it okay if it's funny? I think it's kind of funny. Let me move a couple things around back here. I've got an item I need to take out of the box. I'll show you the box it came in. This is the box. Star Wars Special Edition Stein, it says. And it's been a minute since I've taken it out of the box, but it is a pretty cool looking Stein with one of the posters from the first trilogy, of course. Luke and Darth Vader. Got the lightsaber handle. I've never had anything to drink out of this. You'd think I would have some coffee or something, but I never have. I'll put that back in the box when I'm through here. I'm trying not to take too much of your time. All right, so I just have two more things I wanted to show. One of them is answering his first question, the first question I wanted to answer, which is, what is something that he actually used the illustration. If you're in like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army and you walked by it and it was, you know, a quarter or $1, you'd never pick it up. Well, this is it for me. This was my childhood stuffed animal that I still own. It is pretty rough looking. You can see the stitching. I tell my wife this is a collector's item, it's going to be worth millions. She assures me it's not. But I can promise you that is not worth millions. It's probably not worth $1. But that's my childhood stuffed animal. I will not throw it away. But my wife does understand my Star Wars obsession. So one year for Valentine's Day, she got me bouquet of roses. Together we can rule the galaxy, and all the different ones. They come to the heart side. I am your destiny. You choke me up. There we go. I am your Valentine. Anyway, so she puts up with me. She loves me anyway. All right, now for the kind of the grand finale, I suppose. This video has been running on for too long, and I apologize, but I thought about sharing this on Star Wars Day or on the anniversary of episode 1 or episode 4, but I just didn't get a chance to those days. So today is the opportunity for me to do this. If you collect comic books, this will be, you will understand what this is. If you don't, I think you might anyway, but this is the first comic book that Star Wars made. This was a gift from my brother. This is the first issue of Star Wars, comic book number 1. What makes this significant is all these people that drew on it. It's got signatures, and I need to see if I can get this. I'm going to try to zoom in my camera, not mess things up too much. Try to get it. There we go. You can see the different names we have going on here. David Prowse, he was Darth Vader. Peter Mayhew, He was Chewbacca. Others of these are people like the artists and so forth, but some of the bigger names are here on the back. Ian McDiarmid and Harrison Ford. If you don't know, Harrison Ford does not sign much Star Wars memorabilia. I don't know who all these people are. That would take some research, which I have not done, but just to kind of give you. And so my brother bought this at an auction, and with me in mind, he collects comic books, and he has quite a comic book collection. His comic book collection is very nice. He has a lot of signed and graded, and but he bought this one for me. So pretty cool thing, pretty cool piece to have in my collection. I don't. That's my only comic book. I think that's the only one that I have. But anyway, Justin, thanks again for the opportunity, and Three Good Nerds for the opportunity to do this VR. I will end this there, and we'll return to baseball cards next time. Thanks a lot for watching.